Frank had always taken pride in keeping himself sharp. A clean shave every morning. Slacks ironed. Hair combed back, even if there was less of it to comb these days. But lately, something had changed, and he couldn't unsee it. He stood under the fluorescent light of his bathroom, towel slung over his shoulder, as steam curled off the mirror. His razor was still in hand when he leaned in. The lines on his cheeks had deepened. His eyes looked sunken. A strange sag had taken hold of the skin under his jaw. There was a heaviness to his face that hadn't been there last spring. "Maybe I need more sleep," he mumbled to himself. That afternoon, his daughter stopped by for lunch. The moment she saw him, she frowned. "Dad, are you feeling okay? You look tired. Or thin." He waved her off. "Just stress. You know, taxes, fixing the porch. Stuff piles up." But deep down, he knew it wasn't just that. Because Frank had been sleeping fine. Eating like always. No new meds. No recent illness. So why did he look like he'd aged 5 years in 5 months? That moment in the mirror wasn't just cosmetic. It was a warning. And Frank's not alone. Aging is inevitable. But accelerated aging is not. There's a big difference between growing older and wearing down. Some people stay strong, clear-headed, and mobile well into their 80s. Others begin to fade by their 60s. Muscles wasting, skin sagging, memories slipping like water through fingers. And it's not random. In most cases, it's the body sending early, quiet signals that things are moving too fast. Signals that often get mistaken for normal aging, until one day, they're not so quiet anymore. A friend says you've lost weight, but you haven't been trying. You start waking up more tired than when you went to bed. You catch your reflection and barely recognize your own face. It's easy to blame stress, or bad lighting, or just getting older. But in many cases, these are signs of biological acceleration, your body aging faster than the calendar says it should. The good news? There are 4 key red flags that can tell you if this is happening, and they're not mysterious or medical. They're visible, feelable, and most importantly, reversible. These signs don't scream in your face. They whisper through your joints, your skin, your sleep, your memory. And if you catch them early, you can not only stop the slide, you can slow it to a crawl. The first sign? One that's hiding in plain sight. You're shrinking. And it's not just your spine. Helen always laughed when her doctor measured her. "Guess I'm turning into a little old lady," she'd say, holding up 2 fingers to show she'd lost another inch. It seemed harmless. Cute even. Just one of those things that happens when you get older. But one morning, something shifted. She tried to open a jar of pickles and couldn't. She switched hands. Ran the lid under hot water. Still nothing. Her hands had always been strong. She'd raised 3 kids and needed enough dough in her life to know how to grip. But now, her wrists trembled. Her arms felt thin. Then she noticed it again at the grocery store. A bag of dog food that used to be light now felt like a sack of bricks. Her thighs were sore just from stepping up into the car. She wasn't just shrinking in height. She was shrinking everywhere. And she's not the only one. By the time we hit our 50s and 60s, muscle mass begins to decline. Slowly at first, then faster if we're not careful. This isn't just about looking frail. It's about losing the engine that powers our metabolism, protects our bones, and keeps us independent. Muscle loss, or sarcopenia, is one of the clearest signs your body is aging faster than it should. And you'll see it before you feel it. Look at your arms. Are they softer than they used to be? Check your grip. Can you still carry groceries, lift a cast iron pan, twist open jars without strain? Notice how you walk. Are stairs harder? Do you feel less steady? Bone loss happens alongside this too. Shrinking height, a hunched back, hip and knee pain, all signs your skeleton is thinning out faster than normal. But here's the hopeful part. This is one of the most fixable signs of aging. Your body wants to build strength. It just needs the right inputs. Start small. A light resistance training. You don't need to bench press. A set of resistance bands and 10 minutes a day can reactivate dormant muscle. Try simple bicep curls, wall push-ups, or chair squats. Daily walking, preferably on uneven surfaces. Hills, gravel paths, or grass activate more muscle fibers and strengthen the hips and ankles. Prioritize protein. Most seniors don't eat nearly enough. Eggs, salmon, Greek yogurt, and bone broth are excellent. Even plant-based options like lentils or quinoa help if combined properly. Magnesium and vitamin D. These are silent heroes. Magnesium helps your muscles contract and recover. Vitamin D helps your bones absorb calcium. Without them, even a good diet falls flat. Muscle isn't just about strength. It's about preserving your independence. Because once it's gone, it's harder to get back. And the next sign? It's happening while you sleep. Or rather, while you think you're sleeping. George always said he was a solid sleeper. In bed by 10, up by 6. 8 hours, every night. So when his daughter suggested his fatigue might be sleep-related, he just shook his head. I'm not tossing and turning. I don't snore. I sleep fine, he said, pouring his second cup of coffee by 9 a.m., eyes already drooping. But something wasn't adding up. He was waking up tired. Not, I stayed up too late, tired, boned eyelids heavy, can't think straight tired. His legs ached in the morning. His mind was foggy until after lunch. He started needing naps. Little ones like a switch flipping off after meals. It didn't feel like aging. It felt like something was off. Because the truth is, you can sleep for 8 hours and still be utterly exhausted. If your body isn't doing the right kind of work while you sleep. Sleep is when the body repairs itself. It clears toxins from the brain, balances hormones, rebuilds muscle, regulates blood sugar. But when sleep becomes shallow or fragmented, often without you realizing, it stops restoring you. This is a major early sign of accelerated aging. Here's how it shows up. You sleep enough, but wake up with joint stiffness, dry mouth, or brain fog. You need caffeine early, then again in the afternoon. You feel wired at night but sluggish in the morning. You wake up to use the bathroom multiple times, then struggle to fall back asleep. One big culprit? Cortisol. That's your stress hormone. If it stays high overnight, it blocks deep, restful sleep and ramps up aging behind the scenes, triggering inflammation, blood sugar spikes, and even facial puffiness or under-eye bags. Cortisol should fall at night and rise gently in the morning. But for many older adults, it stays flipped, leaving you groggy in the morning and restless at night. Another common trigger? High-carb or sugary dinners. That comforting bowl of pasta or just a little dessert causes blood sugar spikes, which crash during the night, waking you up or dragging down your sleep quality. So what can you do? Lighten dinner. Aim for lean protein and fiber-rich vegetables in the evening. Skip the bread and sweets at night. They'll haunt your sleep later. A magnesium glycinate. This specific form of magnesium helps calm the nervous system without grogginess. It supports muscle relaxation, blood sugar control, and deeper sleep. Tart cherry juice. Just a small glass before bed provides natural melatonin and antioxidants. It's helped many people fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Ditch screens after dark. Blue light suppresses melatonin. If you must use devices, use a blue light filter or glasses. Your sleep is either healing you or quietly aging you. And if your nights are working against you, your face may already be showing the damage. Because the next red flag? It shows up in the mirror first. Frank had never been vain. He wasn't the type to fuss with serums or moisturizers. But lately, the changes in his face weren't just cosmetic, they were unsettling. His skin felt dry no matter how much water he drank. His cheeks looked sunken, with a faint yellow undertone. He noticed deep creases by his nose and mouth, and his eyelids drooped like heavy curtains. But what really struck him was the puffiness. Not all day, just in the morning. Puffy eyes, swollen cheeks, a look that said, sick, even when he felt okay. It wasn't until he saw an old photo, just a year ago, that the shock hit. He looked older now. Much older. And not in a graceful way. Skin is often the first organ to show internal stress. Not just age, but stress, inflammation, poor liver function, and imbalanced blood sugar. And when the skin changes rapidly, it's rarely just time marching on. Here's what to watch for. Dry, crepey texture. Skin that tears easily, looks thin, or feels papery is often dehydrated at the cellular level, not just lacking water, but missing fats and minerals needed to hold moisture. Puffiness and under-eye bags. This isn't just from a bad night's sleep. It can signal poor lymphatic drainage, fluid retention, or even fatty liver, which often sneaks up after years of hidden insulin resistance. Sudden dark spots or sagging. These aren't just from sun exposure. They're often a sign of glycation, when sugar molecules in the blood bind to collagen and elastin, breaking down the skin's firmness from within. And perhaps most common of all, that dull, uneven tone that makes you look perpetually tired. Here's why it happens. Too much sugar and starch. They cause inflammation, disrupt collagen production, and accelerate oxidative damage. Even healthy, whole grain snacks can sneak in too many carbs for older bodies. Low collagen intake. As we age, the body makes less collagen, but stress, poor sleep, and sugar burn through it even faster. Chronic dehydration. Many seniors sip water but still lack electrolytes like potassium and sodium, which help water get into cells where it matters. Now for the fix. Collagen-rich foods. Bone broth is powerful here. Add it to soups or sip it warm in the afternoon. Also, eggs, sardines with the bones, and gelatin. Electrolyte support. Not sugary sports drinks. Look for mixes with magnesium, potassium, and no added sugar, or make your own with sea salt, lemon, and a pinch of baking soda in water. To support your liver. A sluggish liver slows detox and inflames the skin. Add beets, cruciferous veggies, like broccoli or cabbage, and dandelion tea to your routine. Cut refined carbs. Swap bread and crackers for veggies dipped in hummus or slices of cheese. Stabilizing blood sugar slows down visible aging fast. The skin doesn't lie. It tells you what your organs are trying to whisper. And when your face starts to age rapidly, your brain may not be far behind. The next sign? It shows up in moments that feel small, until they start piling up. Loretta stood in front of the open fridge, staring blankly. She'd come in for something. What was it? Butter? Juice? She closed the door, walked to the pantry, then stopped again. "Oh, for heaven's sake," she muttered, pressing her temples. This wasn't new. Names escaped her more often. Words felt just out of reach. She once called her grandson Charlie instead of Caleb, a mistake that left her embarrassed for hours. At first, she chalked it up to normal aging. Everyone forgets things now and then, right? But deep down, she was afraid. Her mother had struggled with dementia. Was this how it started? Memory slippage doesn't always begin with big things. It begins with subtle shifts, forgotten words, misplaced keys, moments of confusion while driving. And these aren't just mental lapses. They're signs your brain may be aging faster than the rest of you. This happens when your brain's internal environment becomes inflamed, nutrient-starved, or flooded with stress hormones. The brain is like a high-performance engine. It runs hot, needs constant fuel, and has no room for waste buildup. Here's what to look for. Short-term forgetfulness. Can't recall conversations from the day before, or what you went into the room for. Trouble retrieving words. You know what you want to say, but it takes a second, or it just won't come. Emotional dullness. You feel flat, like things just don't excite or interest you as much anymore. Spatial confusion. Getting turned around in familiar places or needing GPS for routes you've driven for years. These symptoms often stem from a few common root causes. High insulin and blood sugar. The brain doesn't like sugar swings. Even without diabetes, elevated insulin over time damages neurons and triggers memory loss. Chronic inflammation. Poor sleep, processed foods, and hidden infections inflame the brain's protective barrier, making it leaky and vulnerable. There are deficiencies in B12, choline, and omega-3s. These are the building blocks of healthy brain cells. Without them, memory falters fast. But you're not powerless. Brain aging is not inevitable. You can slow it, and even begin to reverse it. Start with these steps. Eat choline-rich foods. Eggs, especially with the yolks, are brain gold. Add pasture-raised eggs to breakfast daily. Liver, wild salmon, and Brussels sprouts are also excellent. Use olive oil, not seed oils. Olive oil is rich in polyphenol that reduce brain inflammation. Seed oils like canola or corn do the opposite. Fast gently. Even a 12-hour overnight fast, say, from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., gives the brain time to clean up damaged cells through a process called autophagy. Move your body. Walking, dancing, or gardening boosts blood flow to the brain, feeding it the oxygen and nutrients it needs to thrive. And most importantly, stay mentally engaged. Talk to people. Learn new things. Work with your hands. Your brain doesn't need perfection. It needs challenge. Your memory doesn't have to fade, not if you fuel it right. But here's the bigger truth, the one most people miss. Each of these signs, from shrinking muscles to fading memory, isn't a standalone problem. They're pieces of a larger pattern. And it all points to one thing. Your body is moving faster toward decline than it should be. But there's still time to turn the tide. Aging isn't the enemy. Acceleration is. Frank didn't get better overnight. He didn't discover a magic pill or reverse the years with one smoothie. But 6 months after that moment in the bathroom mirror, the one where his reflection made him pause, his daughter noticed something different. It wasn't dramatic, just subtle. "Dad, you look rested," she said, setting her purse down. "Have you been sleeping more?" He smiled. "Not more. Just better." He'd started walking every day. Light weights twice a week. Cut out the breadbasket and late-night snacks. Added eggs to his breakfast. Drank bone broth in the afternoon. Magnesium at night. Tiny things. Nothing fancy. But when stacked together, they slowed the clock. Gave him back color in his cheeks. Strength in his hands. Clarity in his thinking. Because here's the truth. Aging isn't something you fight. It's something you navigate. And when it speeds up, it's never random. Your body whispers through fatigue, forgetfulness, stiffness, dryness, weakness, before it ever screams. Let's review what those whispers sound like. You're getting weaker even though your weight hasn't changed. You're waking up tired despite sleeping enough. Your skin is dull or sagging faster than you expected. Your memory feels slippery even though your mind used to be sharp. None of these are guaranteed signs of doom. But together, they tell a story. A story of stress, inflammation, and unmet needs. A story of a body that's outpacing the calendar. Of muscles atrophying silently. Of blood sugar lingering too high. Of hormones misfiring during the night. Of a brain that's craving fuel and stimulation, but getting sugar and silence. And the most important part? It's not too late. You can't erase every wrinkle or rebuild all the muscle of your 20s. But you don't have to live in fear of decline. You don't have to assume it's just part of getting older. Because your rate of aging is changeable. Right now, today, you can make choices that pull the brakes. Here's your starting checklist. Eat protein at every meal, especially breakfast. Swap bread and pasta for vegetables and healthy fats. Walk daily, even 10 minutes helps. Strengthen with light resistance twice a week. Add magnesium and potassium-rich foods to your diet. Turn off screens after dinner and keep bedtime consistent. Try a gentle overnight fast. 12 hours is enough. Engage your brain. Converse. Each habit may seem small, but together they act like levers, shifting your body back into balance, cell by cell. Aging is not the villain. But losing control of the speed? That's what steals strength, memory, and joy. The clock will keep ticking. But from this point forward, you decide how fast. If you've experienced something like this, please share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could help someone else realize they're not alone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when our next video goes live.